Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi guys. Rafael Fiziev just knocked out Torres in the second round in his hometown of Azerbaijan, and honestly, it was a pretty fun scrap. Like, let's just be honest, guys. I mean, firstly, the knockout, the spinning, the spinning back kick, that set it up. The knockout itself, in the very beginning of round two, it was honestly beautiful, like picture perfect. Even though I feel like in this video, right, I won't really say much good about Rafael Fiziev, but still I have to definitely give him credit for what he just did, bro, because that was beautiful. The spinning back kick, that landed, in Torres's hand, and it was, you could tell, right, because it hit Torres so hard, right, like his entire body flew off, bro. Absolutely beautiful, and the follow-ups were obviously, beautiful. The accuracy, it was, I guess, one of them hit, right, like when he almost got up, like one of them absolutely, directly hit, and his face got, punched in the canvas, and that's what, led to the, knockdown, and later the knockout. Honestly, it was, yeah, as I said, a pretty fun script. In my opinion, Rafael Fiziev definitely lost the first round for sure, but still, it was competitive, somewhat competitive. I know he was getting clipped a lot, and but that is his fighting style, right? But the main issue that I want to bring up here is that, unfortunately, guys, Rafael Fiziev ain't the upcoming, the upcoming lightweight gatekeeper that we all were, hoping and expecting. Like this guy, obviously, he's extremely active. He obviously, even signed to fight Charles Oliveira, a while ago. Now he's calling for that fight once again. I get, his enthusiasm, right? He stepped in 2 weeks notice to fight Justin Gage, and still went, still went to the 3 rounds. That's impressive, right? But what I'm saying is that, this guy, even though he is really good, and he is really hungry, and he has, basically that mentality of, I want to fight everyone and anyone at all times. I understand that, and I appreciate that. That's why, he was one of my, he's still one of my favorite writers, and that's why, I picked him over Moises Houfi, that one time. Despite knowing how dangerous Houfi is, but it's just, right now you have to understand that he probably won't ever be a champion, right? Not, like, it's really hard to see him even being a top five lightweight ever, let alone champion. Like, firstly, he's an extreme. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to sound offensive at all, but he's an extremely undersized lightweight, guys. Come on, and it's, and when he stands next to this his upside, it's just, it immediately shows. You're not even like, longer longer lengthier guys like Charles Oliveira or Maxwell. No, just usual normal size lightweights. He's even smaller than those guys, and I know he has, previously, he has sometimes, talked about, moving to featherweight, and even then, what, it's no good, right? Because in featherweight you also have some hungry contenders like, Gene Silva, Arnold Allen, Movsar Leon Murphy, right? Even though, Diego Lopez, he was obviously a boogeyman of the division for sure. He's coming up to lightweight still. It's not a safe place there. It's just, when it comes to, his fighting style and his skill, right? He always gets hits a lot, and in the lightweight division, the top 10 of the lightweight division is obviously, full of killers, right? So, what do you really expect here? And I do get, honestly, it's just, I don't want to discredit him or say shit like, he got lucky with the knockout. No, not at all, because he did set up that perfectly, set that up perfectly, and absolutely deserves all the flowers, bro. And you could just tell, in his emotions, right, after the fight, he was making a lot of prayers, bro. I understood that, mashallah, he's amazing role model as a Muslim, right? Definitely, always, in the interviews and UFC embedded, you always see him always, grateful and humble, with everything that he's been granted. Amazing role model, honestly, and as is one of my favorite personalities. But when it comes to, skill for skill lightweights, it's hard to see, who does he want to fight next. Like, who, I know he wants Charles, obviously, but I don't think firstly Charles wanted, just because of, Charles has bigger fish to fry. And not only that, but also, the UFC probably won't make it. He definitely, because, just one fight ago we saw him got absolutely battered by Houfi, and even though Houfi is, in my opinion, one of the best lightweights in the world right now. Yeah, I know that's a bold statement, but yeah, in my opinion, that is true. Still, he did lose to Houfi, right? So right now, honestly, I guess, the Renato Moicano rematch makes sense, but yeah, I don't think Moicano's gonna take it. Like, he wants easy fight, he wants money fight. So yeah, I don't think Moicano will take it, but it's an interesting fight nonetheless. Other than that, who do we have in the lightweight division? I mean, Matthias Gamrot, it's not a bad fight, to be honest. Like, Gamrot, I mean, honestly, yeah, it's pretty good, right? Because Gamrot is like the sixth ranked guy, right? And he also has a win over Armor, which is really impressive, by the way. So yeah, I think that should happen, honestly. Like when it comes to who should Fiziev fight next, honestly, like Gamrot is a pretty solid option, to be honest, like in my opinion at least. But yeah, anyways, that's my take on this, guys. You guys have pretty much let me know what you guys think. And I know I've been talking real quietly for this video. It's just because it's really late, and sorry, it's really early in the morning, guys, like honestly. And my family are sleeping, mother, brother. So yeah, inshallah, I'll see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.